The rise and fall of the Ottoman Empire. In the late 13th century, the world barely noticed a small frontier principality on the edge of Anatolia. Surrounded by crumbling Byzantine lands and rival Turkish beyliks, it seemed destined to be swallowed by history. Yet from this obscurity emerged a dynasty that would shake empires, dominate continents, and endure for over 600 years. This was the Ottoman Empire. It began with Osman, a warrior chief who gathered followers under his crescent banner. His raids pushed into Byzantine territory, and in time his successors carved out a state strong enough to rival kingdoms. They captured Bursa, their first great city, and soon the Ottomans were no longer just raiders, they were rulers. The young empire grew swiftly. Its soldiers, the fearsome cavalry and disciplined infantry, expanded Ottoman power across Anatolia and into the Balkans. At the Battle of Nicopolis in 1396, European crusaders marched to crush this rising power, but the Ottomans shattered them. Europe realized this new force was not a passing threat. It was the dawn of something formidable. But the true turning point came in 1453. Sultan Mehmed II, barely 21 years old, set his sights on Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire. For 1,000 years, its mighty walls had resisted sieges. But Mehmed brought something new, massive cannons capable of breaking stone and spirit alike. After weeks of thunderous bombardment, the walls fell. The Ottomans surged through the breach. Constantinople was theirs. Renamed Istanbul, it became the beating heart of their empire, a city where East met West, and where a new power proclaimed itself heir to Rome. From there, the empire entered its golden age. Under Suleiman the Magnificent, the Ottomans became the superpower of their time. Their armies stretched deep into Europe, reaching the gates of Vienna. Their fleets dominated the Mediterranean. Their laws, architecture, and art flourished. The magnificent domes and minarets of Istanbul rose into the sky, symbols of both faith and empire. The Janissaries, an elite corps of soldiers, trained from childhood and loyal only to the Sultan, gave the empire a fearsome edge. The empire's wealth flowed through trade routes spanning Africa, Asia, and Europe. To many, the Ottoman Empire seemed invincible. But no empire is eternal. Cracks began to form. The once disciplined Janissaries grew corrupt and resistant to change. The empire's vast size made it difficult to govern, and as European powers advanced in science, exploration, and industry, the Ottomans struggled to keep pace. The siege of Vienna in 1683 became a symbol of decline. The Ottomans failed to capture the city, and from that moment, Europe began to push back. One defeat followed another. The empire that once struck fear into the west was slowly forced into retreat. In the 19th century, reformers tried to save it. The Tanzimat reforms sought to modernize government, law, and the military. Railways were built, schools opened, Western methods copied. Yet corruption and resistance slowed progress. The empire was mocked as the sick man of Europe. Wars tore away territory. Greece won independence. The Balkans broke free. Russia clashed repeatedly with the Ottomans, carving away influence. The empire, once expanding, was now shrinking year by year. Then came the Great War, World War I. The Ottomans sided with Germany, hoping victory would revive their fortunes. Instead, the war became their final undoing. At Gallipoli, Ottoman troops fought with desperate courage, repelling British and Anzac forces. But in the deserts, the Arab revolt, aided by Britain and Lawrence of Arabia, tore apart Ottoman control of the Middle East. Defeat was inevitable. In 1918, the empire surrendered. The victors carved up its lands. Anatolia itself seemed destined for partition. 6 centuries of empire had ended. But from the ruins, a new leader rose. Mustafa Kemal, later called Ataturk, rallied the Turkish people. Through war and reform, he built a new nation from the ashes of empire, the Republic of Turkey. The Ottoman dynasty was exiled, its sultans stripped of power. The empire that once ruled from Budapest to Baghdad, from Cairo to Algiers, was gone. Yet its shadow lingers. The Ottomans left behind architectural wonders, rich traditions, and a legacy of both grandeur and struggle. Their rise was meteoric, their rule vast, and their fall a reminder that even the mightiest empires are mortal. The story of the Ottomans is a story of ambition and brilliance, of glory and decline, the tale of a small frontier state that dared to dream of empire, and for centuries, succeeded.